Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you guys. Some of you, I've seen you all week. Some of you are new tonight, so say hi. For those that have never joined one of my lives before, or any of my educational resources, this is a very low-key space. Please feel free to unmute, chat, whatever. This does not have to be a webinar style at all, where you just kind of hang out in the chat. But I will say, in case you weren't aware, this is being live streamed to YouTube. So if you're not comfortable showing your face, definitely understand that. Just want to give that disclaimer there. But I would like, if you're up for it, for everyone to say hi, say where you're tuning in from and how you're feeling now that we are at day 3 of the challenge. Jennifer, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Jennifer. I'm coming from Queens, New York, and I'm feeling pretty good. I actually have August all mapped out. I don't have anything written yet. Didn't do that part yet, but everything's mapped out.
I love it. Did you do it digitally or?
I did it, yeah, on the planner digitally. So I wrote it, but it was on the
Show it to us. Show it off. Let's see it. Love it.
I did it here. You can see the I'm doing an event at the end of August and when promo is and when I'll be doing introductions of the different authors and all the stuff. I mapped it all out so I know when I'm doing what.
So strategic. I love it. Yay. All right. Wendy, you want to go next?
Honestly, today was one of those days I did not get my homework done. I got a lot done. I just didn't get my homework done. So, and I do realize I have some questions about this part of it, believe it or not. You would think would be the easy part, but I'll get to those after we talk to everybody else. So when you get to the questions part.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that for sure.
Okay.
Shout out to you for being here, even though you didn't get it done. High five. You know what?
I learned from everyone else.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you're here. Man, sometimes life is like that. I'm clearly not in my home office today. I have a 13-hour day at my side job. So it's one of those days, and I get it for sure. So I'm glad you're here. All right, Dana, Carrie, do either of you want to say hi or anything like that? Are either of you comfortable?
Hello. So I'm from New York, as well. Long Island for now. And
For
I'm
now.
just yeah. Yeah, because I'm actually from a little further north in the city of in Poughkeepsie. So but I'm just on to because I've been watching every day and just to get some good feedback and just some ideas. I haven't been as good about actually putting the content together, but just here to be in community.
I love it. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad you're not lurking. It's funny. I've noticed like each day there's been this increase in lurkers on YouTube. So I'm really glad that you're here. It's so nice to see your beautiful face.
Thank you.
Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Rachel. Carrie said that she's without camera or microphone, so she can't comment out loud, but she's here. We're really glad to see you here, Carrie. Rachel, Charmaine, we're just kind of saying hi and sharing where we're at. Jennifer um, she finished all of her day 3 mapping out. Wendy, not so much. She's on the other end of the spectrum, but we're glad she's here anyways. And so I'd love to just, if you guys are comfortable, this is being streamed on YouTube as a disclaimer, but if you're comfortable, show your face or just unmute and just say hi, where you're tuning in from, and yeah, how you're feeling now that we're done with day 3.
I'm gonna keep my camera off because I'm from Houston and we had a hurricane. So I actually just got power this morning. So I haven't looked at anything yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh my gosh, Rachel, are y'all all good other than no power?
Yeah, my parents have like a generator and their like internet service and cell service has been restored. So we kind of hiked over here because our house still doesn't have it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, I'm glad y'all are safe and that you were able to head over to your parents.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here, even though you haven't even been able to really look at any of it. Love that. And it's nice to hear your voice. Charmaine, are you able to say hi? may not be in a spot where she's able to. Well, if you're at least listening, I'm glad you're here, Charmaine. Gold star for you and Wendy for all 3 nights showing up. Look at you guys. Love that. All right, so Wendy, you said you had questions, so let's start with you.
Okay.
Throw 'em at us.
All right. This is where I need you to tell me there are no such thing as stupid questions because I'm feeling really stupid with some of these. So just
thing as
preface it with that. Okay. As I was listening to your video today, I realized one of the reasons why I listen to your podcast and your instruction over and over again and don't seem to get past. What is promotion? So you said when you're talking about how you schedule things and what you do first, you said you schedule your promotion stuff first because that's the most important thing, and then you went on to these other things, and I'm like, I guess I kind of thought it was all promotion. So how is promotion different than everything else?
Yeah, not a stupid question. So promotion would be a launch you're doing, or it could be like a big sale of some sort. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big launch, but it would be a really intentional part of your marketing plan for that month. So like Jennifer's got this big event coming up, right? And she said that she put all those dates on her calendar as far as like this is when she's talking about this author, and then she's got a whole promotion planned around this one event.
Okay.
Does that follow? So like a lot of times it's a big launch, but sometimes it's just literally, oh, I'm gonna do a flash sale. That would be a promotion too. So it can kind of go from one end of the spectrum to the other, but it's all marketing. But a promotion is a very specific set of guidelines that you're setting for a certain sale or something that you're doing.
Okay. All right. So what you are scheduling out then is your work regarding that, the content you're creating that is across the spectrum as far as any type of blog post or social media or anything that all falls under the quote promotion thing. It's not separate from the other social media that you're talking about in your schedule.
Yes, I just like to map that out first because it's going to be the
Okay.
biggest priority. Like if I don't get to all the content I want to create that month, I need to get to the promotional content.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
It's separate in that way. I mentioned in the thing that I like to, I don't know if you guys can see this very well, or it's backwards, but I've got important dates and promotions here, and then the different types of content that I put out, right? So I would put important dates, could be anything like I've got batch week in here, right? Because that's something that I know. If I don't know what to talk about on stories that day, I can talk about batch week because it's part of what I teach. But then I've also got things like my siblings are visiting later this month or some of my siblings are visiting later this month. And so that's in here because I know like, okay, that's going to be content that if it's not batched, it's not happening, right? Like that's those kind of reminders. But then promotions, let's see what I've got. I've got the lives, all of these live videos, right? Each day, those are written in red for my promotions because that is part of this launch, right? I've got, which is super meta. I've got audiobook launch written in red down here because it's like, oh, that's the dates for this audiobook launch. And then the content under the audiobook launch is written in whatever color it would be for, whether it's a green for email or it's blue for podcast or whatever. Those are written there, but then I know as I'm writing out that content, like, okay, the promotion's happening. This is content that I need to put around the promotion. Did I explain that well?
Yes. I don't know where the break was in my brain. I was just thinking promotion equals promoting what you've already done. You can tell that you're talking to someone who's never launched anything.
Well, listen,
So.
no, Charmaine's a good question. So you're not the only one thinking that. So yeah, if anyone else, if I did not explain that well, please let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah. But promotion is kind of like here, it's live or happening on these days, and then you can kind of know as you're writing down all of that content, like, okay, this is promotional content for this launch or for this sale or for this push that I'm doing towards a specific product.
Okay. And when you are you're planning out your social media stuff, so we're repurposing from certain things. So we talked last night about all these different ways we can repurpose and all these different posts we can have. like you say, for the whole month or whatever. Do you post all of these like I mean, and I'm just looking for general input on this for consecutively, or do you intersperse them throughout the month with all of your other, whatever? Okay, that's what I
Yep.
was thinking. Just wanted to know what
Yes.
the okay,
And honestly, the
perfect.
best way to do it, which I'm not great at, so disclaimer there, but the best way to do it is when you write the post, you take all of those small snippets of content and you put them in, a Google Doc or something like that. And then, you highlight the ones you use randomly throughout the month. And then on the months, that's like the start of your content bank. On the months where you're like, I don't have it in me to create content. Like I don't have it in me. You can copy paste stuff in your content bank that's honestly you could do stuff that's been used too, but stuff that's not been used and just put it out there so that you've got stuff going out without having to actually like create new content.
Okay.
So yeah,
Great.
that would be
Thank
like
you.
you use it throughout the month and then you also use it to kind of start your copy bank.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Who else has questions? Wendy kicked us off. Now that we're on day 3, this is the end, which is really sad. But whatever questions you guys have, throw them at me so I can make sure you walk away from this feeling really good about this challenge. And just unmute. You guys don't need to like raise your hand or anything like that. No questions? I feel like there's 0% chance that that's true. And it can be about day 3, day 2, day 1. We got some more friends in the waiting room. Or anything content related. Sorry, I was looking at Rachel's comment. Rachel said, I love taking captions I've written before, turning them into another style of caption. Yes, it also can be really great to do not just different styles of captions, but different styles of posts. So you could take something you did with a static image and turn it into a graphic, or turn it into a carousel, or turn it into a reel. It's super interesting. I love to play around with Wendy, you are not dense. Um, we are not going to talk down to ourselves. I like to play around with client stuff and just be like, okay, you know, we did a reel on this. Let's just test it out and see what happens to the carousel. And sometimes the carousel does better. That happened this week with a client, and that really surprised me because typically reels do better. So you never know. For my friends that just hopped on in, we've kind of gone through and said, how we're feeling at this point, and we're just going through questions. So if you've got questions, I am all ears for you, here for you. Carrie said, sometimes it can be hard to know what to promote, especially when you have different offers. Any suggestions for how to decide what to push throughout the year? So, Carrie, a lot of that will go back to what we talked about on day 1. Day 1 was a very small snippet of the strategy side of things because this is really just about like, okay, planning things out. But you want to go back to what those main revenue goals are. So how do I explain this easily? When you set your goals for the year, you want to look at what you launched last year and what you promoted last year, if you have that information, and what you really need to push in order to reach whatever goals you have. So you kind of want to look at like the past and the future to figure out where am I going for this year. So for example, you may know, okay, well, I've got these offers that are fairly consistent in making me money. And I know that when I launch or promote them at these times of the year, they do well. I'm probably going to launch them at those times of the year again. But I also know I would really love to see my business grow and evolve in this way. And I have this new offer I want to create. So where do I put that throughout the year? You start by going back to what your calendar looks like, your personal calendar and all of that. With the way I teach strategy in my course, A Year in Preview, it always goes back to what does the personal calendar look like? Where do you have time and space to actually launch things? Because realistically, It is time consuming. It's really mentally draining and emotionally heavy and all of those things. And so you want to make sure that you're not trying to promote something during a busy season. So you want to look at that, and then you want to look at those goals. My suggestion would be no more than one big promotion a quarter, if possible. That doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes we have, slower seasons where we need to do multiple launches during that quarter, and there are other times of year that are really busy. Like I know, for example, my fall is crazy busy because all of my clients are getting ready for Black Friday and the holiday season, which is massive marketing. So my stuff falls off the wayside every fall, and that just is how it is. So I don't have the ability to launch then, which means I'm probably gonna, cram another launch in somewhere else. I feel like that answer was kind of all over the place. I was trying to answer it succinctly without giving you too much information. But basically, you want to look at what have you done in the past years and what worked, and then where are you wanting to go and move your business in this new year, essentially. Shani, I see your question. Any follow-up questions to the strategy side of things? Okay. All right. Can I get a refresher tips on how to keep in mind while trying to create content for increasing following? Increasing following on what platform? Instagram. Also, feel free to, you don't have to type in the chat, Shane. Carrie doesn't have a microphone accessible. Okay. Honestly, I don't think growth is a strategy or a goal that's worth your time for Instagram. I just don't. I think Instagram needs to be a place where you're accessible to your followers and focus on that. And otherwise, I don't think it's worth your time because you're not going to grow on Instagram unless you're running ads. Like that, you're not going to see major growth. Instead, I would have Instagram growth as like a subset or a side goal of other things you're doing. So if you're focusing on, let's see, for you, a good growth marketing strategy would probably be honestly collaborations with other planner people. A side goal of that could be, sharing your Instagram with them and having them share it with their audience. And it'd be great if you see growth, but I wouldn't put it as my main focus. I would focus more so on how do I grow in a way that's going to bring in sales? For Instagram, how do I show up for my people and showcase funny things, entertaining things? How do I, like your people are looking for being entertained in the form of planners, right? Maybe occasionally, because I know you want to focus on that idea of like planning for the way your brain works, maybe some encouragement on that end also, along with that entertainment. But realistically, like growing on Instagram is incredibly hard right now. Engagement is down for every single person. Like, and by down, I mean like rock bottom for every single person. It's not anything that any of us are doing. It's just we're at the point where Meta wants money. And these platforms, the algorithm, it's not built to help us as small business owners. It's reach, all of it, engagement, everything. Almost all platforms. That's true too. Like these algorithms are created to get more money in the pocket of the creators of these platforms, right? Like They don't care about us. They only care about us in and of the fact that like, how can I make more money? Which is why when you like a few years ago, everyone was like, get on TikTok, get on TikTok, get on TikTok. And so many people were like, I I can't. Instagram is already so frustrating. I can't fathom doing another thing. But the reality is like when a platform first launches and it's starting to grow, it's gonna help you while you help it because it wants more people. And so when you get on there and make content, they're going to push your content, right? And so that's kind of that, like you have to be on the lookout for what's going to be the next thing. And yeah, maybe you put time into it and nothing happens, like Threads. Everyone was like, gotta get on Threads. And then like some people still hang out on Threads, but it's not the new TikTok, right? So sometimes anyways, that's a whole soapbox where I see people be like, I'm so tired, I cannot get on a new platform. And I'm like, if you want to see growth social media wise, you got to get on a new platform. Anyways, I feel like I just strayed way way up into left field with that answer. Sorry, guys. Um, but basically, just show up for your people, give them what they need from you, and you'll see slow growth. I mean, gosh, I don't even know what my follower count is. It's low. I have a super low following count on Instagram, and yet I'm the breadwinner in our family. Like the numbers don't matter. What matters is our vanity metrics exactly. Like, are you selling to your people? Are you gathering your people? And are you building the know, like, and trust factor, which you do that through consistency?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to bring attention to what I'm doing and
Collaborations,
where.
collaborations.
Okay.
That I would focus the majority of your marketing energy, like batch out your content so that you can focus the rest of your marketing energy on collaborating, like
Okay.
connecting with people where you can get, with them and like, hey, let's help each other out here. I
Mhm.
scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's going to be the best way for you to grow. Of
Okay. Thank you.
course. Okay, Rachel said, do you have suggestions on best ways to organize your content banks? The easiest way is Google Docs. And then you could essentially have um, what am I thinking? Oh, theme, like you could have a doc for each of your content pillars essentially in your business. And you could have one that's like, these have been used, these ones haven't been used once they start getting longer. That's gonna be the simplest way. You could also use things like Trello or let's see, do I still have my Trello copy bank up? ClickUp, Asana, all of those different things. I'm in the process of moving over from Trello to ClickUp. So let me see if I still have. I do. Okay, hold on. Let me share this with y'all. Use Notion. Okay, so yeah, Notion would be a great way. Stick it in there and share that. Put them on there. So I break mine up by year and then by topic. So my main content pillars are marketing strategy, content creation, launching, offer creation, right? And what I do, a lot of my content bank comes from straight from my annual survey, where I literally take like what questions I've been asked and I copy paste them in here. But you could also do it where you've got, this is all really old stuff. So like you see, I've got social media captions here where I literally like just copy pasted them into here. So that's another way you could do it. I'm sure there's some beautiful way to do it in Notion you guys could come up with. But yeah, having like, here are my categories, here are my pillars, and then putting it under there in whatever way you do that within whatever system, doing it by pillars, and then even by like blog post or podcast episode or whatever, like kind of breaking it out in those ways, that's probably going to be the best way to keep it organized.
Notion, I use a Notion. I have a database set up and it's really fun because you can really make it work for there. It's just so much you can do that. Yeah, that's how I have mine in Notion.
Everyone loves Notion right now. I see the appeal. I just don't. I've gone too far into ClickUp. Too far gone. I stuck with Trello for gosh, what, 6, 7 years at this point, and I finally was like, all right, I've outgrown it, and I'll probably,
Notion is overwhelming,
yeah,
to say
that's,
the least. I tried probably like 2 or 3 years ago to use it, and I was like, there's a lot here, that's neat. But without trying like ClickUp and understanding like what I needed, like there was just no way I was gonna be able to use it. But spending a couple of years in ClickUp and then realizing, man, I wish ClickUp could do this thing, and then seeing how Notion, there were ways to manipulate it so that Notion could,
mhm,
was how I finally like took that leap into Notion.
It's
yeah,
definitely like an investment to like set up, but once it's like set up and like works, it's awesome. But no, it's definitely like a big on board.
yeah. I did exactly what Shani was saying with Trello, where it's kind of like, okay, these things that I need are like they're not happening, so let me find ClickUp. Let me do that. So I'm sure at some point I'll be like, all right, I'm tired of what ClickUp can't do for me now. Let me let me try something else. And at that point, there'll probably be 500 other ways to organize your business because there's always something new. What other questions do y'all got for me?
I don't know if this is a stupid question, but it might be a silly question. How granular, is that a word? I'm the writer, I should know this. Granular, that's how you say it. Do you get in the planning stage? So like
Mhm.
right now I just like dumped all that stuff on that calendar for when things are happening. But like when do you in the process plan that this is going to be a static post versus a carousel versus a reel? Like that kind of,
Um,
or do
I
you do that
normally
during the batching phase? Because that's the part I always got a little overwhelmed with.
Mhm. I typically do it on that first day of batch week, which would be the planning day.
Okay.
So essentially, when I'm doing my batch week, everything that we've done this week, that's all day one of batch week. But then I also will go in for long form content and I will do a brief outline. I mean, you're in content batching bootcamp, Jennifer. You know that I like to like do an outline and then let it sit for a night and then go back to it and finalize that outline, right? So I'll outline the long form content. Emails, I just leave it at whatever topic because that's really all I need. And then social media, I will typically say what type of content it's going to be, whether it's a reel or a carousel post. Um, but that kind of depends on the way you're doing your feed. Um, because there's a few schools of thought there. I've done the whole like, I'll just wait and see what I'm inspired when I'm actually writing the caption and like what comes to me. And that works too. Or if you're like, I want my feed to look a certain way and I want every few posts to be a graphic, then you would want to be like, okay, this is gonna be a graphic. But I don't normally plan out what the graphic's gonna be at this time. Just is it a graphic? Is it a reel? That's as far as I go with that
Okay.
day one.
Because yeah, I just like dumped everything. And I was like, I forgot when we do that process. So, because it's been a while since I've officially properly batched. I'll be honest with you. Like this month, I just was like, oh, hey, this part of my book stuff is ready. I'm going to throw this into a newsletter.
And we all get there. We all get there.
So,
It happens because, and again, this is why I was saying it's great to have a content bank for when you're like,
yeah,
I cannot, like physically cannot do batch week,
yeah.
which
Post that went up Friday was from a content. I'm like, oh, I've never used this post. Let me just take a selfie and throw it up there. Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
I love that you're not taking social media too seriously. That's what I really want everyone to take away from this is like, don't take social media so seriously. Emails, yes. Long form content, yeah. Like be strategic with those. Social media is not worth the mental capacity so many of us put into it, myself included. I get stuck in that rabbit hole too, but it's not worth it. It's just a place to show up and be like, hey, you're my people. I like you. What's up? That's really what it's for, right? We want to build the know, like, and trust factor, which means we want to show up consistently, but that does not mean we have to show up constantly. So,
Okay.
okay, Jennifer, that's a great segue. You said you haven't batched in a while. You couldn't remember what you do on day one. We are going to be doing a live round of Content Batching Bootcamp starting next Tuesday with the kickoff call. So for those of you that are already students inside of there, you're invited to join us. There's no additional fee to come. I'll send the link out to all students. So we will have that. Let me give you guys the dates real quick. For those that aren't already students of Content Batching Bootcamp, I would love to see you join. The next step, now that you've got a plan, is to create. And honestly, there is no better way to create than batching, because when you can batch out your content and create a month's worth of content in just 1 week, you've got 3 weeks each month to move the needle in your business and to work on those other behind the scenes projects that you can never find time for. And it gives you a break from creating content, because creating is mentally draining. When you get on that hamster wheel and it feels like you can never get off of it, the burnout is so real. And when you have 3 weeks where you don't have to create, you'd be amazed at how much inspiration you actually end up finding, where you're like, oh man, this is a great content idea. I should talk about this. But when we're stuck in that, oh my gosh, I am constantly creating, it's hard to come up with new things to say because our brains are burned out, right? So we will be doing, let me go. Well, no, I won't skip ahead. I will do what I set up. So inside of Content Batching Bootcamp, we covered creating your content plan, learning exactly how much content you actually need to put out for your business so that you can show up consistently, but not constantly. I also teach my step-by-step guide to batching, the tools you need, the steps you need to take, how to batch your content. And then we work on setting up a batch week schedule that works for you and your unique business. This is not a course where I say, here's my system, copy it. That doesn't work for anybody, right? No, we learn to set up inside of this course a system that's going to work for your unique business. So instead of just saying, here's what batch week should be, it's here's how we create a system to set up your own unique batch week. So at the end of it, you've got that whole system. You have lifetime access. You can take it as many times as you need to as you have life changes. My batch week system has changed multiple times over the last 4 or 5 years, just because life changes, and what worked then doesn't always work in a new season of life. So if you want to join us, there's a QR code. You can also just go to amandawarfield.com/bootcamp. I guess I could drop that in the chat to make it easier for y'all too. Okay, and then these are just some things that students have said. I feel like I could conquer the world. I've already checked everything off of my list today except for one thing. Have a hard stop at 1 p.m. I looked at your Instagram stories and watched you talk about batching content for 1 month in 1 week, and I thought I understood it until I got in this class and realized how much it makes sense. You took really complex series of tasks, blah, 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 blah. This one's my favorite. In just 1 month of using content batching to get my content out there consistently, I've seen a 35% increase in traffic to my site, and my affiliate income has increased as a result, plus a 10% increase in followers on Instagram. To be fair, this was a few years ago, so like I cannot promise that you'll see an Instagram increase in followers, but just the fact that this student was showing up consistently, she saw an increase in her affiliate income and in her site traffic. And then finally I have time to explore so many things and get flowing for future months. I'm excited that for another 3 weeks, I don't need to think about content creation and I can build up ideas for future posts. And then this one is another favorite. I just did a week vacation with my family and I haven't had to stress about any online content. And I launched season 2 of my podcast while on vacation because they had batched out their content at a time. So these are the live session dates. We'll have our kickoff welcome call next Tuesday, July 16th. And then the next 4 Mondays after that, we'll be hopping on Zoom and I will be teaching live. There are all of the videos inside because it is an evergreen course. So you could skip ahead if you wanted to and watch what's already created, but we will be live, like whiteboard style teaching, because It's fun and I love teaching, and it's a really great way to get all of your questions answered since we are making unique systems here. Now, I've got some comments. Hold on. Carrie said, one of my biggest wins from content batching bootcamp was realizing and admitting how much is realistic for me to create each month. I was trying to do too much. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie. Yeah, most students come in. I mean, we look at what other big influencers and big marketing gurus and the big business owners are doing and think we need to do what they're doing. And like Charmaine asked last night, I don't know if any of you watched the replay. She was like, how much do you put out? And I was like, you don't need to do this because I have a team, right? We look at what these big teams are doing and think we need to do that too, when realistically, it's not realistic. Okay, well, all of you are being so sweet. Jennifer said my biggest win was getting off the hamster wheel of having to create all the time. And some months I slide back and I realize how much batching helps me. Yeah, the thing about batching is it is a month after month thing, which is why we have student study halls every month now. Actually, the next one is tomorrow morning. So if you join before tomorrow morning, you can join us for student study hall. Because it is so important to just have those stupid things. The thumbs up again. It is so important to have that accountability with batching. So yeah, and we also, Jennifer knows this, I fall off of batching sometimes. Like it's nature. What time are the live sessions? Okay, I have not chosen a time yet. So that's a great question. I'm Pacific time, so it would not be early morning Eastern time, and it will not be, well, I guess that probably doesn't matter for anyone. It will not be super late Pacific time or Eastern time. Realistically, this time frame is always a good time. And then like the 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Pacific. So 11, 12, 1. So like midday on those days. So probably midday or later in the evening Eastern time. But I have not chosen an exact time yet. Not sure if that's helpful. But I've also got some bonuses for you guys. I had so much fun creating this launch because I haven't live launched Content Batching Bootcamp, and I don't even, thumbs up. I haven't even launched this in so long. So I was like, I'm going to come up with some really fun bonuses. Everyone who joins before the 16th, that welcome call will get a month free inside of my membership, the community. The community is all about that growth marketing side of things. So this is all the nurture marketing. You've got two types of marketing. You've got nurture marketing and growth marketing. Nurture marketing is about the audience you already have and nurturing them. And then growth marketing is things like collaborations, like we were talking about with Shiny, like getting out there and growing in front of new audiences. And so that is what the community is all about. So everyone who joins will be getting a month free. If you join before the 13th, you're going to get a 45-minute one-on-one call with me. And then if you join by tomorrow night, midnight, you can save 30% with the code CPB24. So that code will work for both the pay in full option and the payment plan. So there's two different options there to make it easier for you if you need to break out those payments. But you can use that code and that will save 30%. You guys are being so sweet to me. I'm going to cry. Like, I did not expect, I didn't ask them to do this, to be clear, for all of us watching the chat. But yes, okay, so that is Content Batching Bootcamp. That is the next step, truly. If you've got a plan now, we want to make sure that you're able to, let me show my face. We want to make sure that you're able to put that content out there consistently so you can build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. And so that you are able to not be stuck on that content creation hamster wheel where it's just like every day you're marketing. That's not what we want. We want your marketing to work for you on the front end while you're working on the back end of your business so you can truly grow it. How long is it? It is, gosh, I think well, those calls will probably be an hour each realistically because there was Q&A time. But if you're just watching the videos in the actual portal, I'm pretty sure I'll just show you the inside of the portal. Why don't we do that? That'll be good. Okay, so this is the course itself. We've got the study hall link for those of you that have not been coming. We've got the study hall link right there. And then the next step, the first thing you need to do, and the next thing you need to do is on all of these pages. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lessons. There's a bonus lesson and then, or 2 bonus lessons that you can also do. But all of these, they're all meant to be, yeah, like that's 7 minutes. This one is 7 minutes. Did I just click on the same one? Might have. That one's 13. Like they're all meant to be short and sweet because like it's no fluff. I'm all about simplicity, no fluff. Like I'm not going to give you a ton of stuff. There are live replays. Yeah, so the last time I did a refresher, a live was 2022. That's crazy. I can't believe I didn't do one last year. But I put all of the live courses in here too, so you can see the questions that other people have asked. And then I've also got some resources for you here. But the majority of the course, you could take the entire course in less than an hour. But you should come to the lives because those are the most fun. Wendy said people who previously bought able to, yes. Yes, Wendy. All students of Content Batching Bootcamp, because you've bought the bootcamp. That the course is just called Content Batching Bootcamp. All students, current students, past students, they're all welcome to these live calls for sure. 100%. Yeah. And I want to see you there because it's a great refresh and it's a great like accountability to, okay, why did we stop batching? Because if we stopped batching, it probably meant that the system we originally created is no longer working for us. So let's do our little refresher and see what it is that we need to do to get that. Like, okay, let me wrap my mind around this again. How does this work for my current season of life? Yes, yeah, I love a live session. It's my like. I love teaching, so it's my favorite part. Or dealing with imposter syndrome stuff. That too. Which also we can just boost you up. All right. Does anyone have any questions about Content Batching Bootcamp or the bonuses or anything? Forever. This is a purchase once. Sorry, I should have read that out loud for those watching on YouTube. How long do we have access to the lessons? This is lifetime access. This is as long as my business exists and Kartra exists, which if my business still exists and Kartra doesn't, I'd move it to another platform. But forever, yeah, this is lifetime access. And I will put those live call replays up. As you saw, I've got all of the other ones that I've done too. Up so you have access to those forever. Any other questions? I guess I should maybe check YouTube to make sure no one's commenting over there. Really bad about that. Okay. I think we're good. All right. Any other not Content Batching Bootcamp questions, marketing questions in general? Rachel, you're so sweet. For anyone thinking about joining, do it. Amanda's content is my holy grail of education. Okay, well, this is great because you know what? I'm about to have youth group and be hanging out with teenagers who are going to just tell me I'm old and, really knock my ego down. So this is perfect. Thanks, guys. I should do this every Wednesday. Friggin' teenagers. I love them. But man, they know how to. They're so brutal. We were climbing a mountain at our camp this summer. This is so left field. And my brother climbs, I have a heart condition. And so like, climbing a mountain, kind of a big deal. And I took my time. I listened to my body. I was like, you guys go ahead. Like this whole speech ahead of time about we're all gonna, because I've had kids who will like run up it and then like gas themselves out. And I get to the top finally, and my brother goes, I got up here faster than you and I wore jeans. And I was like, Robert, I have a heart condition. And one of the other kids goes, man, that's such a 30-year-old thing to say. And I was just like, okay, all right, guys. I mean, you're not wrong, but like also rude. It's a medical condition. Yeah, it definitely keeps me humble for sure, Wendy. 100%. It's great. It's perfect. So yeah, this is great. You guys are being so kind, and they're just gonna knock it right back down. All right, guys. Well, I'm truly sad that this challenge is almost over. Are we able to watch these sessions on replay? Yes, Kristen. If you're referring to the content planning bootcamp sessions, yes, these are all on my YouTube channel, which let me just give you the link to that real quick. So you can watch all of these. And then the links to the workbook and the daily trainings, they're just in Google Drive. They'll stay there forever. If you were talking about content batching bootcamp, you will have the ability to do that. Trenton said, I don't have any questions, mainly time management. I've been cooking for 5 hours. Be happy to share all the food. I mean, I'm down. Also, Trenton is 18, guys, and he's sitting there cooking. That's amazing. The thing about content batching bootcamp is that it will help with time management because you're batching out that content. I love it so much. Yeah, because you're batching out that content, it allows you to really just like, you've got so much more time and freedom in your day and in your weeks on those other 3. Okay, Shani said, I believe I was part of the content batching community a while back when it was a subscription. Do I need to repurchase? No. Let me double check that you're signed up, Shani. But no, if anyone else who's watching this replay and is asking that same question, shoot me an email. Because yeah, no, you're good. So I will
I'll
as soon as
DM you because I don't remember which email it was under. So
okay.
I'll
Okay.
just
Yeah.
DM you.
I will double check or just DM me and tell me what email you want it under. And if I don't see it still in there, um, if it's still in there and you're still signed up, I will resend the login information. If it's not, I will use the new email. So just DM me whatever email you want used.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. This has been a wonderful kickstart to Q3 and 4. I'm so glad, Charmaine. I love it. I know July can be one of those months where like some people are like, I'm not really working right now. But there's something about the summer that makes me like ready to go for the next few months. So, all right, friends, thank you for being here. If you guys need anything, please find me on Instagram, like DM me. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you all have in store for yourselves over the next quarter. Yeah, excited to see y'all's businesses grow. So keep me updated, okay?